Lily Phillips, and today I'm getting run through by 100 guys.
What does it really mean to reclaim your body, your sexuality, and your power? Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a deep dive into the documentary about Lily Phillips, a woman who made international headlines after she slept with 100 men in a single day. I think she's actually gone on to do 1,000 in a day, but I'll have to double check that. She claims it's feminist, she calls it empowerment, and she says it is all her choice. It's about owning her sexuality on her terms. But it raises a question that's far more complex than a headline. If a woman chooses to offer herself up for male consumption at the altar of her own exploitation, does the fact that she chose to do it make it feminist? When a woman willingly engages in acts designed primarily for male pleasure, is that liberation? Or is it simply a more palatable form of self-oppression? Where's the line between sexual autonomy and internalized objectification? And who gets to decide which is which? Welcome back. So this week I wanted to talk about Lily Phillips. I wanted to talk about the documentary that Josh Pieters made, which basically followed her in the lead up to her sleeping with 100 men in a day challenge. Before I talk about the documentary, or before I show any clips or give any of my opinions, I just wanted to make one thing clear. I will not be talking shit about Lily or degrading her or belittling her or making fun of her in any way, shape or form. If that's the type of video that you're looking for, this is not the video for you. I will be talking about some of the things that I noticed in the documentary, maybe some of the inconsistencies between who Lily is portraying herself to be, this persona, versus some of the stuff that I saw that don't necessarily match up with that. And I'm going to be also talking about choice feminism, and is this type of work feminist? Is this type of, is sleeping with 100 men in a day feminist, basically? And I'm also going to be talking about sexual embodiment and dissociation. Okay, so those are some of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about. I will repeat, I will not be belittling Lily. I will not be shaming her for the choices that she makes. I will not be talking shit about her or any of the work that she's doing. Okay, so just want to put that out there, disclaimer before I say anything. And I also managed to avoid all of the kind of Lily Phillips and the Bonnie Blue, all of the stuff that was going viral over the last year. I quite successfully managed to keep it out of my algorithmic ecosystem for the most part. And then I noticed this documentary on my YouTube feed for some reason like 2 weeks ago, and I decided to watch it. And I'm glad that I did watch it, but it just made me feel so unbelievably sad for Lily. And I have my own opinions about this kind of stuff, based on my own experience and based on my own life. I personally don't think that Lily has good people around her. I think everyone is more than happy for her to exploit herself so that they can get their cut of the pie. But anyway, we'll talk more about that later.
Because I was at university, I was like, I'm being a anyway, could make a little bit of money.
What do you mean by you were being a anyway?
Like, I was just being at university. Like, I was just sleeping around with everyone.
But I feel like I know of a lot of girls who have done that at university but then haven't gone on to become OnlyFans stars.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I just was like already very, not proud, like very just okay with doing that. Like, I've just always had quite like a sexual nature.
Yeah.
I just thought I might just make like a couple £100, can get a few rounds of drinks in, stuff like that. Just helps me out a little bit while I'm at university.
So there's a very big difference between being very proud of something and then just being okay with something.
It's not like a bother to me. You know, I don't drink tea.
Yeah, oh, really?
No, so this is probably going to taste like shit because I don't really know how to make it, but just good for one thing, mate, honestly.
This is a common theme as well that I noticed with Lily, where she will always kind of anchor back into this persona of, I'm just a slut, I'm just a whore, I'm just good for one thing and one thing only. And she kind of turns everything into like a sexual innuendo and a sexual joke as well. And I'm not going to include every single clip of this or every single time that this showed up, but it's a pretty it's a pretty common theme throughout the whole documentary, where she anchors immediately. Her default is anchor back to this, anchor back to being a slut, anchor back to being a whore, anchor back to just being good for only one thing, and kind of like doing a little giggle as well to just turn it into a laugh and a joke.
Hi.
Hey, I'm Josh.
Hi, nice to meet you. So tall, isn't it?
Is you a PA?
Yes, yeah.
So how many people are there in Team Lily?
8, 9?
There's 9.
I don't know. Yeah, quite a... 8 or 9. Yeah, 9 now.
So there's 2 things I noticed though. This is her PA, her personal assistant, or her manager, or whatever. The manager didn't know how many people were on her team. Bizarre. And she also was not willing to have her face shown on the telly. She wasn't willing to show who she was, and she wasn't willing to identify herself.
I recognise them. But
Yeah.
if I don't find someone attractive, I struggle to like look at them while I'm looking at them.
But you don't struggle to have sex with them?
No. Before I was never much of a... I actually wanted to wait till marriage at one point. I just used to think it was a real special thing. As soon as I actually did it, I kind of realised that it wasn't special. And also that I just really loved it and really enjoyed it, and that I wanted to do it way more often.
So I really would have liked to ask the question there. What happened during your first sexual encounter that made you realise that it wasn't special, in her words? And what about the following subsequent sexual encounters, and how were they? And has she ever had a sexual encounter that did feel special? Or has she ever slept with someone who made her feel like she was very special? Those are questions that I would have loved to ask Lily in that situation, particularly about the first sexual encounter, and what happened during the first sexual encounter that made her realise, in her words, that it wasn't special.
Ever find a boyfriend?
Yeah.
But there's so many guys out in the world. I think, one poor bastard's got to marry me. I rather think it's going to be someone from the industry, or someone who is into lending me out.
Lending you out?
Yeah. Like into hot wife, or being
it's kind of like this anchoring back into this like jokey, self-deprecating, one poor bastard has got to put up with me. One poor bastard will be fine with me, as long as he's fine with me being a hot wife or being lent out to other people. So again, it's this like anchoring back to this persona, this anchoring back to, I'm just a slut and one poor bastard is going to be okay with having me.
Is this one of them fake taxis?
I don't know what's a fake taxi.
You don't know what fake taxi is? Have you never seen like it on Pornhub? It's called fake taxi, and basically the taxi driver ends up like f***ing the passenger. Yeah. Search it all when you get home.
And again, just some more examples of anchoring back to the slut persona, or anchoring back to the like hee ha ha ha, or anchoring just back into the persona of just pushing this part of her forward. And this is, again, it's just what we're watching in the documentary. She might not actually be like this in her day-to-day life. Obviously, this is just the persona that she's pushing forward for the public. This is the persona that she's pushing forward for the cameras. So I have no idea. I don't know who she is in her real life, and I don't know how she acts when she's around her friends. But definitely this is the person that we see the most. This is the part of Lily that she pushes to the front whenever possible, from what we can see in this documentary.
Have you ever received any scary message on here, that like something that frightened you or made you feel unsafe?
Some people will request, or sometimes way too much. Like I had literally last week, like, can you put a bag over your head and pretend to be like suffocated? It depends obviously on the request, but stuff like that I probably won't do. I don't want to encourage it. Like that for me, I don't think that's doing help.
What if someone
society.
offered you $1 million to do it?
I probably would bend my morals for that, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So she's admitting that she has boundaries, she has lines that she won't cross, but for the right price or for enough money, then she would be absolutely willing to bend the rules or go past her limits or go past her boundaries. So that would be like conditional integrity or conditional morals, where for the right price you're willing to bend your morals.
Barbados, Jesus, we're going global.
Is this just going to be completely random as to how you pick them?
Yeah. Like we said, we prioritise the ones who have STI checks. Yeah, I guess the only thing I'm nervous for is like for them to have a good time, I want to make sure they enjoy themselves and don't come away from it like, oh, I feel disgusted or that wasn't fun. 2006.
Oh my God.
So they're going to prioritize the men who provide STI tests. They're not saying that they will only exclusively work with men or accept men into this challenge that have proved their STI status, but they will prioritize the ones that have. And then it goes on to say that they will accept screenshots of STI tests, which obviously could be faked, obviously just pulled off the internet or like photoshopped or whatever. So it's wobbly. The conditions that the men have to meet in order to like take part in this challenge, the bar is very low.
We definitely look down on me for doing this, but I think at the end of the day, people forget that it's also my fantasy, and this is also something that I'm really enjoying and want to do and have wanted to do before I was even in the industry.
Our filming was interrupted briefly by a phone call from Lily's mother. Apparently, she calls Lily every day.
Oh, my God, call me every day. What have you been up to today? Oh, I'm just getting railed. What are you? And they're just sort of checking in on me.
So there we can see there's just Lily chatting and her mum rings her, and apparently her mum rings her every day, which I think is really good, and I hope she does have like a genuine support system from her family, because the team, we'll get into it anyway, we'll get into it when the team kind of more come more into the documentary, but I do not like her team.
Clearly. There are days where I'm sat here on a Sunday, I am feeling a little bit more lonely. My friends have all got boyfriends, and I'm like, I see a comment and people are like, oh, no one's ever going to marry you or something like that. And that can definitely like make me feel a little bit like, oh God, have I chose the wrong career? But like, I just totally love my job. But just like people talking about your body constantly, how you look, every day someone like picking at you, I think that's the hard part. And also just the pure fact that people think so much less of you.
So she's talking there about some of the hardships that she faces in her job, and that people look down on her and people degrade her and they look at her completely differently from now on. And but then she does this also as well throughout the documentary. She will constantly keep reinforcing how much she loves her job. And I'm not here to say whether or not I believe her or whether or not that's true, but that is a theme where she will kind of like list off all of these consequences of this work in today's society, but she will be like, but I love it. So I'm not here to say that she's right or wrong. That's not what I'm here to do.
I don't know what I do, but I'm not on the phone to them every day going, oh, I just got DPE'd, 17 guys today, or this and that. They don't need to know the logistics.
Of course.
I do feel a little bit like embarrassed being like, Mum and Dad, I'm 100 guys.
Why?
I guess because it's not really what my parents would have wanted me to do. Doesn't mean to say my parents are like going to disown me or hate me or anything like that. I just don't want them to think less of me. Like we can still be like very close and stuff like that, but I just don't think they need to know like exactly every single detail.
She's just giving a bit more examples there of the relationship she has with her parents, where she doesn't tell them like specific details of what she's going to do, but they know like vaguely what she's doing. And I kind of wonder, with her level of fame and with her level of being in the media so publicly, that surely they know exactly what she's up to. But then she admitted that she didn't want to tell them everything because she didn't want them to think less of her. And there's just these little moments throughout the documentary where she'll say something like that, and you can kind of see that persona of the slut, the whore or whatever, where that kind of like steps back, and then like other parts of Lily step forward. And I think when she's talking about her family and when she's talking about the real life consequences that she suffers because of who she is, then I think in those moments we can see a little bit more of a different part of Lily.
I don't mind being told. I'm sleeping with 100 guys in a day. That is the definition of a sexuality.
Would you refer to yourself as a feminist?
Yeah. At the end of the day, doesn't feminist mean like you just want equal rights for boys and girls? And yeah.
So when she mentions feminism and she says, well, isn't feminism like men and women being equal to each other? And I just wanted to point out that there's a little bit of a wibbly wobbly thing there where in this situation specifically, 100 men joining a queue to spend 5 minutes with Lily. I don't think that situation can be equally reversed. I don't know if there's a single man on earth that could convince 100 women to book plane tickets, take taxis, book hotels, Airbnbs, take time off work to join a queue of 100 other women just to spend 5 minutes with him in an Airbnb room. I'm happy to have my mind changed. I am absolutely happy to have my mind changed, but I don't know that that situation could be reversed equally. And when it comes to choice feminism, the idea that I'm a woman, I am choosing to do this, I am making this decision, therefore it's feminist because I'm choosing to do it, is a wild oversimplification for what I believe feminism actually is. This logic flattens the complexities of how choices are made, and it implies that any decision becomes feminist simply by virtue of the woman choosing it. Actions historically seen as anti-feminist, such as undergoing plastic surgery, participating in pornography, adhering to rigid beauty standards, are suddenly reframed and reshaped as feminist if the woman is choosing to do it. But I think feminism needs to go one question deeper and one layer deeper and ask the question, why is the woman choosing to do this? What are the conditions under which she is making these decisions? The belief that any choice made by a woman is inherently empowering or radical overlooks the larger systems in which these choices are embedded. Feminism is not just about individual autonomy, it's about questioning the structures that shape our desires and limit our options. Yes, people who are genuinely feminist and people who have feminist practices and ideologies and live in a feminist way absolutely can and do participate and engage with beauty standards, cosmetic procedures, and sometimes sex work. That does not mean that the acts themselves are inherently feminist. So choosing to participate in these systems doesn't erase the fact that those systems were built within and often for patriarchy. In fact, many of these decisions can be made completely separate from how women think men will perceive them. However, a lot of the times the outcomes of women choosing to participate in these things will often benefit men the most. If we are saying that we have the right to sell our bodies, we are also saying to men that they have the right to buy them. To some people that might seem empowering, but to me it sounds like capitalism functioning under patriarchy. Patriarchy is very, very clever, so it creates the illusion of choice and then punishes women no matter what they choose. Whether you opt in or out of traditional femininity, you are still judged. These aren't real choices, they're constrained performances shaped by a lifetime of cultural conditioning. This is where the concept of choice feminism falls a little bit short. So emerging in the 1990s, choice feminism emphasized a woman's agency and celebrates her freedom of choice. But many feminist scholars have criticized this framework, ignoring how our choices are shaped by broader societal forces. So none of this means that women don't have agency. Of course, we do have agency, but true freedom doesn't come from simply having a menu of options. It comes from being able to make decisions under conditions that are genuinely liberating. As feminist scholar Nancy Hirschman said, freedom is not just about making choices, but about making choices under the right conditions. And as Audre Lorde powerfully reminded us, you cannot dismantle the master's house with the master's tools. Can we actually reclaim something that was never ever designed for our liberation in the first place? Then the challenge becomes, how do we honor individual agency while also maintaining a critical lens on the systems that influence and constrain that agency? Feminism must move beyond celebrating choice and towards transforming the conditions under which these choices are made. So let's continue with some more clips.
50% of them confirmed.
And then you're checking that they've done an STI test?
Yeah, so prioritising guys who have STI tests. They have to screenshot the results kind of thing. But this is the thing with it, like you can never 100% know if they've had an STI test. And even if they had, they could have slept with 10 girls in between the test and things like that. It's more just like, you know what you're getting involved in if you're willing to participate.
Are you going to kiss any of the guys?
Definitely. I feel like some of them would be a bit put off, especially when they know I've just had like 57 guys inside me or whatever.
Why do you think that would put them off?
I think it's more if someone's to my face. I can imagine that's what's put them another guy are.
So you would let like these guys do that on your face?
Yeah.
And in your mouth?
Yeah.
What if they're HIV?
Is that where it comes from?
She again says that they're prioritizing guys who have shown their STD status, but she says it a few times, we're prioritizing, but it's not like, oh, this is 100% necessary. Like, you absolutely cannot get in unless you do this. It's like, oh no, there's just a priority. But then, so it's like, yeah, it's not necessary. It's not completely required. And again, she acknowledged before that they could just fake their tests anyway. And then there seems to be a bit of a disconnect here between like sexual education, STD safety education, where he was like, what about HIV? What about the risks? And she was like, oh, is that how that happens? Yeah, so again, I would just be, this is another reason why I just don't feel like she has very good people around her looking out for her. I feel like Josh is asking her the questions that her team should definitely be asking and know the answers to, and they should be educating her on her own safety and how to keep herself safe as possible. And again, I'm not trying to shame her for not knowing about the dangers of STDs. However, I would have hoped that with how big she is and the amount of people that are around her, that someone would have been able to advise her or hire someone like a sex educator or someone to educate her on how to keep herself safe.
To make sure there's not someone with a criminal record, for example, coming down.
We actually have not now.
Do you feel safe?
Yeah. I mean, pretty sure I could take on some 50-year-old guy. No, I think it'll be fine. I'd like to think that the guys on there, so I don't know what they would do anyway.
It is London, like you've put out a public call, so technically anyone could come down as long as they were over the age of 18.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'd like to think someone won't go to that effort to put in their ID, drive there, you know. It's quite a big process for someone just to, I don't know, do something.
So again, it's like a complete disregard for her safety, complete just not taking it into consideration, it not being significant in any way, shape or form to check these guys. Who are these guys? Do they have criminal records? Are they dangerous? She's just like, no. And again, I don't think the burden of responsibility 100% lies on Lily. It lies on her team also to double check this.
Yes, I'm here for the thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a bit early.
I'm Josh, by the way.
Oh,
Hey, nice to meet you.
I never really think about things before I do them, so I've just kind of do them and then think, oh, was that okay? But
so this was the first guy that came to join the queue or whatever. He's first in line, and he said that he didn't think much about it. He didn't really think about it at all. So this has been in the works for at least a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. He has known that he has signed up and he's had days, weeks to think about it, but has just chosen to not think about it at all, about what it actually means to do what he's doing. And if at all there will be any consequences for him, or if this is like a good thing that he should be doing. He's just like, I'm not thinking about it, I'll worry about that later.
Hello. Hi there. Fair enough.
Everyone get naked now. Let's get going.
It's a lovely house. I like that big mirror.
So the team not wanting to be filmed at all, saying don't film me, welcome to the house, everyone get naked, obviously trying to joke, and Josh doing his Louis Theroux bumbling British man, this is a lovely house, this is a beautiful house. Yeah, but again, just more evidence of none of the people on the team are willing to show their faces. None of the people on the team are willing to be on camera.
Just putting a baby monitor in here so I can keep an eye on you.
You had like an energy drink?
Yeah, I had a squash pastry in the bar.
Okay.
With your
lunch or anything? What do you think?
I think I'm gonna have a break. I think we get to about 12 and have a little
Okay.
breeze.
Yeah, that's good. Are the guys going to shower? Or
No.
That just comes straight in the condoms?
Yeah, they're in my bag. I've bought like 2 into them.
Yeah, that's good. Just in case of my break.
So she said that she's had a pastry and that's the only thing that she's eaten, and that she's thinking that she's going to take a break at some point. And the manager woman came in with a baby monitor so that they could keep an eye on her to make sure she's safe using a baby monitor. I'm not sure how safe that is. I would not feel safe, but that's just me. But again, Lily's safety is not the thing, is not the main thing here. It's not. Yeah, anyway, you'll see more.
Just as proceedings were about to commence, we were asked to leave. It was hard not to feel concerned for Lily as we left the house. She seemed more apprehensive about what she was doing than she had done over the past few weeks. Perhaps the reality of the situation was beginning to dawn on her. It certainly was for me.
So Josh consistently showing way more concern for Lily and how she's feeling, noticing that she's feeling more apprehensive than she had done previously. Yeah, I feel like Josh is genuinely, in this documentary, from what we've been shown, shows her far more care and consideration than most people around her.
It's chocker, and anytime she gets a break, it's for a quick shower and eat, and then back to working, so no time to be filming during her breaks.
However, we were able to speak to another man as he left the Airbnb, although he seemed shaken by the experience.
How are you feeling? Yeah. Like, how long did you get with that? So you got some extra. Do you know how many guys have gone before you?
No.
Like, is that not? Are you happy with it?
I'm just
So this guy is visibly shaking, visibly like shaken by the whole experience, and saying that his dad will kick him out of the house if his dad ever finds out. So assuming he's quite young. And again, he said again that he didn't really think about it. He didn't really think. He just signed up and impulsively decided to do something like this, without thinking about the actual ramifications that it might have on him. And you can see in that clip that he is incredibly shaken up.
Lily's PA gave us some more updates and promised us that they were nearly finished.
How far off is she from finishing?
Not far off, but we're nearly done. We've got a few people who have like gone home and then they've called us and like, can my friend come? I just told them how sick it was. And we're like, yeah, bring it. Like, send your friend over. No, it's been great for like networking. Like even like guys been saying like, oh yeah, I do this for a living, saying the job. Oh, we need someone that does that. And we're like, yeah, message us back tomorrow. It's been fun. I really enjoyed it. But I was like, I should not be an event planner. I actually can't believe we were going to do this without security. They've been
so helpful.
Absolutely amazing. Like, I could kiss them both. They've been so good.
So the manager has been outside smoking fags, having a laugh with all the lads, networking, saying that this is great for networking, and then said that they were going to do it without security. They were literally going to do it without security. So Lily is still inside the Airbnb with however many men in the waiting room and in the room with a strange man who she doesn't know. And thank God there's security there. And the manager saying, oh, we were going to do this without security. So little regard and so little concern for Lily's safety.
For sure.
I didn't know what to expect. So many guys left it really last minute and we were getting messages today like, can I still do it?
Yeah.
But we had so many people drop out.
Yeah.
So when I was like going through like, yes, can you make it to London today? And a lot of them were like, yeah, that's fine. We were just like scrambling to get guys. So I was outside having a smoke with them all. We were just all talking and getting along. And then we come back in here and they've got the music on vibe and it was really nice. There were a couple of guys that Joe messaged me like, oh, I didn't really perform well. Can I come back? And we've been like, yeah, that's fine. And they've just like come back.
Oh, really?
Redeemed themselves because they've been like that nervous.
So they were getting last minute people just, can I come in? Are you still accepting people? Can I come up? And she's like, yeah, come on, just giving them the address. Obviously with no background check, with no STD check, just, yeah, who are you? Don't care. Come up. This is the address.
How do you think Lily found it?
I think, do you know, I've not had the chance to speak to her too much. She's been in there all day, and we've just like dropped her in the shower and like, she's exhausted. She's like, the first thing she said was like, I need a Nando's. I was like,
you've earned a Nando's.
Yeah, the Nando's is ordered.
Her own manager, her own personal assistant, has been chatting with the lads, networking, smoking cigarettes, having a fucking buzz, and hadn't even checked on Lily. Do you know what? I haven't seen her. She's been in there all day. I haven't seen her. Make it your business to go and check on her and make sure she's okay. This is what I mean. There's no consideration for how Lily is doing. Like, you make it your business. You go in. You're like standing at the door. Next guy that comes out, you go in and check on Lily and make sure she's okay. But that just isn't in the manager's like interest at all. Like, at all.
Oh, holy shit. I guess you actually can. Is that real? Yeah, he's not good at smells.
Lily then walked us through the process that she had repeated 100 times that day.
Come on in, make yourself at home, take your shoes off. I've got some hangers here if you want to put your coat up. Nice. Come on in, where you travel from today? Oh, lovely. Yeah, oh, it's so nice to meet you. I'll get you on the bed, make yourself comfortable, take off your trousers, and we're going to have a fun time. And I'll give them the phone camera. I'll just say, I'm guessing you don't want your face in it. Yeah. And if they don't, it'll be POV, phone camera. Yeah. I'll start usually with and then I'd say, like, is there anything you like, don't like, any certain position you want to do? Yeah. And then, yeah, we kind of got straight into it.
Did you do the condom on, or?
No, I didn't. Condom off.
Okay, but then like once they're having sex, it's like condom on type thing. Yeah.
So Lily just ran Josh through her sequence of how she welcomed these people in and how she got started with these guys. And again, there's a little disconnect here for safety and her sexual education, where she said that she was giving all of the guys oral with no condom, but then made them wear a condom when they were having sex. And yeah, again, it's just that that there's no one there to teach her about sexual education. There's no one there to teach her about the STDs that can be transmitted through oral sex.
And I was like, I'm not even halfway yet.
Yeah.
And 40 is still a lot of people. Like, imagine 40 people and be like, I'm not even halfway, like, done.
When was the last time you ate?
I had a yam yam. Yam yam, is that what they're called? A little pastry. And I think I had a sandwich, and that was and then the rest come. It's not for the weak, girls, if I'm honest. It was hard.
Okay, so the first thing she said there was that when she was at 40 guys, when she was at number 40, she realized that she wasn't even halfway there. And the main thing that I think when I hear like, oh God, I'm not even halfway there, it's like, do you know when you're in work and you're looking at the clock and you're like, oh my God, I have 4 more hours left, or you're in school and you're looking at the clock and you're like, there's so many hours left, because you don't want to be there. You want it to be over. You want it to be over as quickly as possible. So I'm just projecting. That might not be what she was actually feeling. But any time in my life, I've been like, oh my God, get this over with. Like, it's because I didn't want to do it and I didn't want to be there and I wanted it to be over as fast as possible. Then she said that she had a pastry and she thinks she had a sandwich at some point. So she wasn't being fed properly. There weren't people making sure she was eating. She worked all day on a little pastry and a sandwich.
It's kind of like being a prostitute in a sense of like, it's just a different feeling. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
it's not like just having sex with someone.
Yeah. Just one in, one out. Like, it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Sorry.
Okay.
Just take
1 minute. I think I was you know when I talked to you last, like I was not nervous. It was like the day before. I was like, oh, I'm so nervous. But it was good. It was more, I guess the interactions when like I'd have to stop them early and like you'd have to stand on business and be like, I'm so sorry, you got to go, and like the awkward interaction of like you feeling pressure to have to make them come if like you haven't spent enough time with them and feeling like you didn't give them a good time because like they only got 2 minutes.
And that's what's making you feel emotional, is that maybe you think you didn't give some guys a good enough time today?
Yeah, and it's hard, I think, having the interactions with them when they're like, what, you're not going to make me finish, I've come all this way, like kind of like guilt tripping me a little bit. I felt bad, like some people just travel so far, like I didn't want to give them a shit time and like come away from this and be like, oh, that's shit. I think sometimes like feeling so like robotic, like by the 30th, you know, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're going to do this, and like it just, sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like, you know, like it's not like normal at all.
So when she speaks here about dissociating is basically when we disconnect from our sensations, our physical sensations, our emotions, and the present experience in order to protect ourselves in some way from whatever it is that's going on. It's basically the opposite of embodiment. So when someone is making an embodied decision, an embodied choice, you're including your entire body, your physical sensations, your emotions, your spiritual, your mental, everything everything comes into play there. You're sexual, everything gets integrated, and the whole part of you, the embodied, integrated part of you, everything is making the decision. So making an embodied decision is completely different to making a dissociated one. If she needs to dissociate in order to get through this challenge, I don't think that can be an embodied decision. I don't think she is sexually embodied. I don't think she's sexually empowered. I don't think she's sexually liberated. That is just my opinion. I could be wrong. I think there's been enough evidence in this documentary alone to assume that Lily's persona, the person that she is in front of the camera, the person that she is filming these videos and making all the sexual innuendos and always anchoring back to this, like, I'm just a slut, I'm just a slut. It's a persona. It's who she thinks she needs to be in order to get the likes, the views, the clicks, the money, in order to get that validation. And it's the loudest part of her. It's the part she pushes to the front. She mentioned in this as well, there was a scene where she said that she felt sad because no one takes the time to get to know the real her. And I just wanted to comment on that as well. I'm not sure if I commented on that earlier, but the loudest part of her is the slut, is the 100 guys in a day, making the sexual innuendos, always taking the opportunity to anchor the conversation or to steer the conversation back to something filthy or slutty or dirty. And that is the part she pushes to the front. That is the loudest part of her. So if that's the loudest part and that's the part that she leads with, then it's safe to assume that most of the people that will be attracted to that are going to be men. So all of the people in front of her, all of the people in her line to get to know her are going to be men, and those men are only going to be interested in that part of her. So when she's upset saying that people don't give her the time to get to know the real her, that sounds awful and that sounds really, really sad, but it is also, unfortunately, a side effect of pushing this part of herself out to the front. And then the people who actually do genuinely want to get to know her are so far back in the queue because the people at the front of the line are only interested in this one thing that she has to offer, this one thing that she's pushing to the front and taking every opportunity to anchor back into. And again, I'm not trying to shame her. I'm not trying to say that she doesn't deserve to have friends or anything. That's not what I'm saying at all. And she did mention that she does have friends and that her friends know her and her friends love her. So I really hope that's true.
I think that was kind of the hard part, is like conversing with them and like when they'd kind of be like, oh, like we've only had 2 minutes or 3 minutes and you said 5 on the message.
Did someone say that to you?
Yeah. And obviously it just makes me feel so bad.
Do you think you should feel bad about that?
I guess when you've promised something to people who support you, it's kind of hard to let them down.
But it's up to you, right? Like when you know.
Yeah.
She says there that I just feel bad because I don't want to let down my supporters. These people are supporting me. These people are not your supporters. These people are consuming you as a product. They are your consumers.
It was only added to in the days following our filming with Lily, as she announced to her fans that in February of 2025, she would be sleeping with 1,000 men in a single day to break the world record.
Last week I did 101 guys. Now this was just the warm-up, because in February I'm going to be the first person ever to reach 4 digits of guys all in one day. Yes, 1,000 guys.
Maybe what we witnessed that night was just someone overwhelmed with emotion after completing such a monumental challenge. Or maybe we saw the true toll this career can have on a person.
Okay, so I actually looked it up. She didn't do the 1,000 guys a day. I think Bonnie Blue did, and Lily Phillips didn't. So that's as far as I know. I didn't look too much into it, to be honest, but like 100 guys in a day is obviously like still so many. Anyway, I just wanted to do a little commentary about some of the stuff that I noticed in that documentary and raise some questions about sexual embodiment, sexual empowerment. Is this sexual empowerment? Is this sexual embodiment? I don't think so. But maybe it is for some people, and I'm not the one who gets to fucking dictate what other people should and shouldn't do and whether it counts as sexual empowerment or not. I'm just asking questions. And I definitely did want to talk about the choice feminism and if something like this can be called feminist. And most of me says no. In my opinion, it isn't feminist. But however, I still think that people who are feminists can make these decisions if they want to, but those decisions aren't inherently feminist. Anyway, I'm going to go because I'll keep talking. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you have anything to add to this conversation, because I'm really interested in having this conversation, and maybe I'll make another video just about choice feminism, separate from Lily Phillips and this documentary. But thank you for being here, and I will see you next week.